Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
This is going to be fun. So much thought is put into what to name a child, and it's a decision that once you make it and it's on a birth certificate and the family starts calling this child this name, it stays.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time, that's the name.
Yeah, unless you have it legally changed because you really don't like it.
Yeah.
Right. Have you ever known anybody who did that? I have not.
I only knew one person who did, yeah.
Then let's hear it.
Well, no, I'm not going to say his name because that would be unfair to call him out.
Say his new name that he chose legally.
He chose Hank legally.
Oh.
He didn't like being because he was, teased, and he should
didn't
never
like being the other name.
He should never have been teased for his name because it was a great name. But anyway, yes.
Okay. Moving on.
I mean, what else do you want me to say about it?
It's
the only
fine.
person I knew.
It's fine. I've never heard this, but okay. And a lot of times you start thinking about what you assume you want to name your children early in life, even before you're ready to settle down. Like I had ideas in my brain well before I knew you, Murphy, that I wanted to name a girl one day Taylor. Yeah. I knew that before we were married. And I remember thinking, I hope Murphy likes this because I really like Taylor.
Was it a deal breaker?
No, because he liked it.
Oh, yeah, I love the name. The only name I had never put much thought into that. Other
Maybe
than
that's
the fact
a woman
that,
thing.
Yeah, because if it was a son, he was going to be the fourth because that's what it was. I was going to continue the lineage of the name. But
yeah, sorry, I know I did that to you.
And that's fine. Although Taylor says that when she gets married, she's keeping her maiden name.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, isn't that cool?
She's going to do the hyphen or just keep the name?
Zero idea yet.
I don't know.
We don't know
She
yet.
says she wants to keep the name.
And then our youngest, Phoebe, we 100% pulled that from pop culture. We were watching Friends one day, laughing. I was pregnant, and we knew if it was a boy, it was going to be the fourth.
Yeah.
But little Murphy. But we said, well, we
didn't want to call him Little Murphy's a perfect example of what we don't want to call him.
We love the name Phoebe. We love the character. We looked at each other, and I said, Phoebe, and you were like, yes. It was so easy for us. Yeah. Okay. But I love the story of people's names, and I love it when names come from pop culture just because. You name a kid something in pop culture, they may not thank you for that down the road. Luckily, our Phoebes loves Friends, loves Phoebe Buffet, and doesn't mind being named after that. Yeah. Luckily.
Well, and look, as more time wears on now, too, that show's been around for a minute. You know what I mean? It's older, so.
Well, Phoebe is a Bible name, too. Remember this story?
Yeah,
Papa said that.
I didn't know that.
You're naming her
Where?
Phoebe. I don't remember.
Oh.
When I was still pregnant, I said, it's going to be, if it's a girl, it's going to be Phoebe. And he was like, oh, from the Bible. And I said, sure.
Or Friends.
I was going to have to fact check Papa on that one. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, for sure. Because the next time I saw him, he showed me. It's definitely in the Bible. She's definitely
really?
in the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be one of those where it's like you open the book and you see, Phoebe, Monica, and Rachel. I don't think this is really biblical,
Anyway,
Papa.
Thou shalt.
I bring it up because I want to tell you something, Murphy. You don't know this, and this is a cool little story. So Taylor and Phoebe, our girls, both watched Game of Thrones with me. Phoebe did a year or two ago, and then Taylor and I are on it now.
Yeah.
And we talk about it every once in a while. Taylor and I are watching it together, and we have some favorite characters. And all three of us, we all agree of our love for Jorah. 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 I don't know if you remember who he is, Murphy, because you've only watched an episode or two. He's the best friend of Daenerys Targaryen.
Okay.
And he's her protector.
Yeah, it's her protector.
Well, we had a coworker here whose daughter was named Jorah, which is a beautiful name.
Right.
So it works, boy or girl.
That was the Jorah that I knew.
Yeah.
And then Game of Thrones came along, and every time he's on the screen, my heart's just, beating wildly. And he's such a great character. Do you know that both of our girls love that name, and they've had the discussion about one day in the future that being a name that they choose for a child. That's how much they love it. Now, Phoebe also loves Stevie.
Well,
Phoebe loves the name Stevie.
like Stevie Nicks?
Stevie Nicks and Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, she's a huge fan of both.
Isn't that funny? I just wanted to tell you that and throw it out there. It's beautiful.
I've got to believe that right now there are a lot of names that are coming from Game of Thrones that are used, but I haven't met a Tyrion yet.
There's a lot of Aryas, I would say.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful name.
It is. It is beautiful and one of the most popular characters.
Yeah.
And that happens because of shows. Going back to Friends, I knew a lady a long time ago in a professional setting. She and I don't work together anymore, but she had a son around the same time. We were all having babies at the same time. And she had a son, and she named him Chandler. Oh. And I didn't even have to ask. I was like, Chandler. She goes, yeah, Chandler Bing.
Yeah, that's
It was
cool.
a long time ago.
Is he funny?
I don't know. He was a toddler.
What names would not work from Game of Thrones, though? Like maybe you don't want to call... Cersei. Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants a Cersei.
Ned.
Oh, Ned is fantastic.
He's lovable, but you know what I mean? There's a little foreshadowing that could be kind of...
Hodor.
Oh, Hodor, though, that's lovely. That'd be cool.
No.
Of course, you could never escape it. Yeah. You could never go and do anything.
See, that's an example, I guess, of something that's so specific that it
is too specific. It's too...
specific to the show.
But there are others. I mean, are there any other pop culture names that you find cool, Sam?
I just think there's probably a lot of Taylors because of Taylor Swift's popularity.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past decade even.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a multi-generational name.
Yes, it
is.
is.
Big time. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, like way, back.
The reason I loved it when I was a little girl is I had a grandfather that I never knew who died. He would have been my great-grandfather. He died when my mother was small in a car accident. My mother was like a child she was one of the survivors of that accident, and he died in that car accident. And his name was Zachary Taylor, and everybody loved. And she even told me later. My mom said I should have named you Taylor, and that's where I thought, what? That's a great name for a girl.
Doesn't it cause a little bit of an identity crisis when a parent tells you that?
No, she just meant that if I would have thought of it, she would have kind of fought for that.
Weren't you going to be Jodi, whether you were a boy or a girl?
Yes, my dad chose it and liked that.
Yeah. I guess, there are, I'm trying to think of other pop culture names. Now that you don't have just 3 broadcast networks anymore.
It's too hard to know.
You know what I mean? Right, exactly. Some things will become universal, I guess, if they go viral. Otherwise, there's a million names to choose from.
I remember when this has been 10 years ago, watching Breaking Bad, that I really liked the name Skylar.
Yeah, I was like, me too.
What a great name that just stands out. Yeah. You don't forget a Skylar.
You don't forget a Heisenberg either.
Right. Skylar, and then there's some of the classic names. They're not associated with TV shows, but I love hearing them every now and then because, like, Polly, and we have a friend named Polly. That's a name you don't hear. That's I guess a name from 3 generations back, 4 generations back, or whatever.
Name.
It's a very happy.
It makes me feel happy. Maybe it's Pollyanna. Maybe it's our friend Polly, who's always happy, seemingly.
Yeah. Right.
Correct. So anyway, it's just something to know. I mean, people think about names. You think about them your whole life, maybe girls more so than boys growing up. But then when you are expecting a child, you're thinking about it, and it is worth thinking about. It is worth giving some real time. Say the name, say the full name several times.
Speaking of Breaking Bad, right? Say my name.
My brother my mom named him after the old TV show Maverick. Brett and Bart Maverick.
Yes.
It was going to be Brett or Bart. She didn't know which one, and then she decided Brett. I like that character better, so it's Brett Maverick.
Oh,
Brett North.
Oh, I was going to say.
Brett Maverick North. Yeah, that's his name.
Do you know that our neighbor has a grandchild named Maverick, a boy?
Ooh.
Named after?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Top Gun.
Top Gun, yeah.
Pop culture. There it is again.
Super. He doesn't know how cool his name is
Not yet.
Murphy, do you know what you were going to be if you were a girl? Because I don't know what I was going to be.
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Ask your mother.
Yeah, my parents never actually. I would have to ask my sister, and maybe she would know, because my sister is named after Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and so that's where Jackie is her nickname.
Maybe you would have been Jackie, and she would have been something else.
I mean, it could have been. It absolutely could have been that. I never ever thought to ask them that
Me
question.
Either. It just hit me just now.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.